Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of the Million Pound Mission Podcast. It's your buddy Adam, the PhD, the previously heavy dude, and this is episode number 169, Improve Your Limiting Factor. And as always, with our 5-Minute Friday, we are not wasting any time with theme songs and sponsors, although we do love our sponsors. But we're just going to diving right in, talking about limiting factors. Now, this is a little bit different than thinking about strengths and weaknesses. A limiting factor is something, let's specifically get in there with the transformation process and see how it relates to that. But a limiting factor would be something like with myself, I love to lift heavy weights. I love to lift me some weights and put weight on the bar and deadlift and squat and overhead press and pull-ups and all that stuff. But I would just get hurt all the time. And there's this vicious cycle of, I'd already lost my weight. I'm into more strengthening and toning and body sculpting type things and pushing the limits with my body. And I was very interested in that. And I had goals set along those lines. But I would work out for 2-3 months, and then I would get hurt and have to cycle back a little bit and take it easy, and I would lose ground. And it was just a never-ending cycle of back and forth, push it, get hurt, push it, get hurt. So the limiting factor for my progress was that injury. And you have to dial it back and say, okay, why am I getting injured? Well, my mobility sucked. I had a lot of damage to my body tissue. I had tore hamstrings several times. I wasn't letting that repair and recover. Really bad flexibility in my hips and in my back. I had some arthritis situations happening in my spine. So I had to attack that limiting factor so that I could make progress. So it's not necessarily looking at like strengths and weaknesses. There's a group of people out there will say, well, Adam, if I just focus on improving my weaknesses, I'll just have a lot of strong weaknesses and not really make any progress. So we're not really talking about that. We're talking about what is holding us back. What is that last little hurdle that we need to break down so we can make real, tangible progress? So for a lot of you, it'll be something like like evening cheating on your diet. You stress eat in the evenings. All right. So you have to look at why that's happening. A lot of people are going through work and not eating a whole lot. So they're hungry when they come home, they're stressed out, and they haven't prepared food in advance. So what's the one thing that we could do that would help with this limiting factor of stress eating in the evening? And one of those things would be, let's get a routine of food prep going. Healthy food prep, that takes care of you being able to bring healthy food to work so you're not as hungry when you get home, maybe even be a little less stressed. And then when you get home, all you have to do is just choose that healthy option that's already ready to go, and we eat that instead. So, and back to my story, my commitment was to my mobility. So I realized I had to improve my mobility, or else, things would never get better. For things to change, you have to change. For me to change, I had to make some sacrifices. That's the other thing, is that with my circumstance, I had to sacrifice some strength. I lost some strength. I lost a lot of strength. I lost a lot of muscle because I took a year and focused on rebuilding my body from a mobility and movement and dynamic motion standpoint, being able to recover properly. I eased back into my strength training with a very modest pace so that I could make, just steady progression, but really keep my mobility focus so that now I'm way more flexible. My spine's in much better shape, but I had to sacrifice. I lost a lot of muscle mass, but now I'm getting it back, and I'm able to make steady progress going forward, where I have not had any injuries to speak of in the last 4 months that I've been kind of jumping back into strength training, but keeping my mobility base. So with you guys that are, let's go back to the stress eating in the evening example. With that, you're going to have to sacrifice some time because you're going to have to get into a routine of having a food prep day. And if you do that, then everything else will kind of take care of itself. With the healthy food options being there, you're not going to be as hungry during the day, and you most likely will not stress eat as often at night. So dial things back. Look at the one thing that is seemingly out there limiting your progress. Work backwards from that and try to create an action step this weekend that you can implement so that you can maybe you'll only have to spend a few weeks adjusting to the new process, or maybe you have to spend a full year focusing on it like I did. But either way, it's worth it because then we can make progress. And that, my friends, is how we get out there. That's how we own it. Every meal, every workout, every day. I will see you on the next episode.